Hey everybody, it's Dan Sims with Success by Day, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. I'm actually reading off of my phone today. There's some lines from the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost, if you're not familiar with it. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for the passing there had worn them really about the same, and both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. The poem, in case you didn't get that, is about a traveler looking on the path that splits into two roads, and he's unsure of which one to take. He doesn't see any particular merit in one over the other, so he just chooses one arbitrarily and goes down it. I recorded a video today, actually. I'm not posting it the same day as this one, about Lessons of History by Will and Ariel Durant, where I talked about, or they talk about really, how written history is different than recorded history. And this poem is related to that, because when we read about or watch movies about or documentaries about famous people who have made it, who have earned millions with their own company, their own ideas, their own products and services, it seems as though their lives are told as if they had this goal their entire lives. And I don't necessarily think that's true. I think that it's better to see your life as a gradual progression. You may learn a ton about romantic era poetry and then forget about it for a while. And it might come back or it might not. And at the time you might have been really interested in it and thinking that you were going to become a poet and then never did. And I think that everyone who is successful goes through those kinds of changes. They progress down one road and then realize maybe that's not what I want to do, and then they back up and progress down another one and back up and progress down another one. And I think it's important to realize that the people that we study and admire do the same exact thing. It's just a condition of mankind, really. People just do that. They make decisions, they take back those decisions, they go with other decisions. It happens all the time. So if you're feeling lost, if you're not entirely sure what you want to do, and I have a ton of videos on this exact subject because it's something that greatly affected me in high school, undergraduate, and even graduate school. If you're lost and you have no idea what you want to do, don't worry about it. Go down the path that seems best at the time. You can always turn around and change your mind. Just make decisions as wisely as you can in the moment. Do what feels right at that moment. Sometimes it gets too stressful and it makes you too anxious to think about, is this what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life? That's a ridiculous question to answer at any point in your life. My dad figured out what he wanted to do when he was 42 years old, and now he's an incredibly successful real estate agent. There's too much pressure, especially on asking high school students. I never understood why we do it that way, but that's beside the point. There's too much pressure on answering the question, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? I don't think anybody will ever be able to answer that until they're in that thing. And so until you get there, meander. And I know that's weird advice coming from someone who talks about success and productivity and focus all the time. Focus on what makes you happy now, and maybe it'll turn into something and maybe not, but don't go into things thinking this is what I have to do for the rest of my life, because that's where complacency comes in, and complacency, as we all know, is a bad thing. So that's your Success by Day for today. I hope that was helpful. I will leave a link in the description to the poem in case you want to read it for yourself, and I will see you next time.